Hello there, good morning, it's Dave Allen for EV20 Questions. You know what, it's time to go on a road trip. And today I'm going to head towards France. I could have headed out towards Barcelona, but if I go that direction I'm going to have the sun in my eyes. So I think I'm going to head north. There's a couple of towns up there. There's La Boulou and one next to it, and another one called, oh no, I forgot what it's called. Anyway, but there's another Sorades, that's what it's called, I remember now. So I'm going to head up that direction because there's a couple of places there that have got chargers that are on the Révéo map, but they're not on the PlugShare map yet. So I'm just going to go up there and just have a drive and enjoy myself driving and try out a couple of these chargers and also put them onto the PlugShare as well. So I've got the trip settings all set down to 0. I've got the drive computer set down to 0. I've got some tea in the car. I can make some tea when I'm out in the way there. So all set up, ready to go. Oh yeah, the guessometer's telling me that I've got 240 something kilometers in the battery, which is not bad. It'll do for today's journey. It's not as much as I used to get last summer, which I was getting 280, 270, something like that. And obviously there's the fact that it's cold this morning, it's just above 0. So here I am in this place called Marelles-las-Lias, and it's just across the border, not far from La Boulou. I just went through Perthus to get to this place here. I'm not sure I pronounced that name of that last place right. I'm not sure if I pronounced the name of this place right, but still I'm here anyway. And what I've done is I've just added it to PlugShare, and it's next to a building, and you can go in. There's 2 entrances to the car park, and if you sort of pull around to your right, it's just easy to find. It's a similar sort of charging point as you've got in a few other places around here. And you can't see the plug socket, so first of all you have to do is you have to get your RFID card, and the new motion card I think works with this one. There's a couple of different cards. Let's have a look and see what I've got here. So I've got loads of cards here. The main card to use this one will be this one from Révéo, and if you've got this card, then you've sort of signed up for it. It means that you can pay €1.50 for your first hour of charging. It doesn't come in very fast with this, even though it's a 22 kilowatt hour post. It's €1.50 for the first hour. Then after that, it's 2 cents per minute. And if you're staying there for a reasonable amount of time, then you'll get enough into your car and you'll be able to go on your way, and it's okay. I've got another card here. This is one from Soda Trell, and they're called Izivia now, or something like that. And you can use that one. That one works okay with this one here. And I believe the other one I've got, which could work with this one, is the card from New Motion. So that's the card from New Motion. So I believe that one works with it as well. A choice of different cards you can use with it. The cheapest card to use is the actual Révéo card, or you can use the Révéo app with this as well. And today, this particular one, all I've done is I've come here just to add it to the PlugShare app. I'm not actually going to use it. I'm not going to do any charging because I've got some others to go to. In any case, I've got 141 kilometers left in the battery in the car, and there's enough there for me to get back to Figueres and charge in Figueres. I've got a choice of 3 places in Figueres I can charge up, so that's no problem. And I'm just sort of winging it today and just sort of going for it and seeing what happens with charging my car while I'm out and about in France. Okay, so I got to La Boulou, and it wasn't far away from the place I was at last. This is only 5 kilometers, 6 kilometers is the maximum. And I went into the address as was shown in the application Révéo, and it was totally wrong. It's on the other side of the railway track in a different car park, and it's next to the Hotel de Ville. So I had to go out of where the address was on the map there, go out around and then head into a different car park. And I made it here, and once I got here it wasn't difficult to find. So what I've done is I've added this charger to the PlugShare application. And that's 2 for today, and I'm going to go to another one and add that to the PlugShare application as well. And everything's pretty good. Now, I'd like to think that the people that are making these apps, you know, they know where they're sticking their charging points, and they can actually sort of more accurately, you know, say where they are. I mean, it doesn't bother me so much now that I've got the stuff on PlugShare, but if anyone was using just the Révéo app, they could be driving up and down that bit there, like, for goodness knows how long, looking for the charging point. I got out of my car, there was a walkway underneath the railway tracks. I thought, you never know, maybe it's down there. So I went across there and had a look on the other side of the railway tracks in a car park, and there it was, the charging point. Exactly the same charging points as in the previous place, and as I've used before in Villefranche-de-Conflent. And it's a one where you again stick your card underneath the thing, and then you get to see where the sockets are because the door opens up, and it's works pretty well. It's worked pretty good for me in the previous times I've used these charging points. I have done 107.5 kilometres today, and I've got 136 kilometres in the battery. So that adds up more or less actually to what the guessometer was saying earlier in the day. I've got 55% left in the battery, so that's plenty for getting on. In fact, I've got enough in there to drive all the way home if I drive carefully. Although I'd say that by the time I got back home, I'd be getting a bit sort of tight, and I'd be sort of thinking of, am I going to go into turtle mode? But in any case, it's not going to be a problem, because from here, I'm going to head round to these two other places and have a think about what I'm going to do next. I'm not particularly hungry, so I stuffed myself with fruit and little sort of cereal bars, and I'm having a good day out in my car, in my Nissan Leaf. Yes! Well, that's another one done. I'm in this place called Saint-Genis-de-Fontaine, and I found the charging point in a car park. It was in this kind of centre of the town there. It was opposite the school, so there was lots of come and going at the children being dropped off and stuff like that. And just around the corner there was supermarket, small supermarket, and so a couple of shops and stuff like that. And I didn't stop and have a look, because what's the point? I didn't need any. I didn't need to go into the shops or anything. And I've got more to do. I've got more places to go to. And the next place I'm going to is called Sorade, and got 49% in the battery still. It's still telling me I've got 125 kilometres in the battery. I've driven for nearly 120 kilometres. So it's been a good day so far. Nice little trip out. Well, I'm here at a place called Saint-Angels-de-Mar, and I've got plugged in. When I arrived here, one of the parking bays or charging bays had been iced, and the guy looked at me strange. I think he was a bit dim actually, because he hadn't quite worked it out. He actually stopped and had a look at the sign, and decided maybe that next time he won't park here again. I didn't actually talk to him because my French isn't that good, but it was interesting to see the look on his face. As I was adding the charger to the PlugShare application, someone else came along and looked like they was going to pull into this spot, and I gave them a wag of the finger to recommend that they go and park somewhere else, which they did. So the disappointing thing about this charger is that it's only going in at 3 kilowatts, so I'm a bit disappointed at that. I'm going to have a bit of a break and use the charger anyway. Hello there. Well, I've arrived in the Nissan dealers in Figueres, and I got here with 26% in the battery, so it was getting a bit low, on the low side, but I wasn't bothered. It was going in it was working out just perfectly, just right. I did think about the possibility of driving all the way to Girona and filling up in Girona, but I thought no, I'll pull in and make sure in Figueres. Okay, so I've just about finished my charging here at the Nissan dealers. I've got 78% of the battery. That's 207 kilometres I can drive, enough to get home. I don't know if I'm going to bother stopping in Girona, because if I do, it'll only be more time. I'm better off sort of keeping on back towards home and getting the dog and going out for a walk. And I think that not going to be that much difference in terms of how much it's going to cost me to fill the car up. It'll probably be only the difference of maybe €1 in terms of how much I'll have left in the battery when I get back home again. So anyway, this is Dave Allen, off on a trip and heading back home from the Nissan dealer in Figueres.